everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, today I'm going to be discussing episode 3 of Sunday Spy School from Pixel Circus. Now, since this is episode 3, this means we are officially going into the last episode next week, and I am so sad and excited at the same time. I feel like it's not quite bittersweet is the word, but like sad-sighted. I don't know what the word is for that, but I'm really excited to see how it's going to wrap up and everything, but also sad that like we're going to be done with these characters. I would love if there's like a second season of this or something, which I absolutely think they could do, but episode 3, listen, you know how last episode I was talking mainly about how like the big reveal for me was if E potentially was bad, which in a way I was starting to wonder this beforehand, and I don't think I mentioned this just because she kept like bringing up like all their issues and seemed to be trying to make them like insecure in a way of like, hey, like this is a thing that you hid from your friends, why don't you tell them all now? But I was also like, okay, but this stuff has to come out, so like, and it's making them stronger working through it, so like maybe she's doing one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm gonna reveal all your secrets, so then like, you know, it like makes you guys talk to each other and like actually is a good thing. But it just did feel weird how she was kind of like, Astoria's taking ballet and not telling you guys. Mal, she got into school and didn't tell you guys and deferred for 2 years so you could all go together. Like, it was just weird how she was like just dropping those bombs every once in a while. Now that we know that E is, and again, I'm gonna say officially bad, like Midge could be lying, but it seems like all the evidence that we have so far is backing up towards the fact that E is actually the bad guy, which I never would have guessed. It's so funny because in episode 1, Tori, and they mentioned this, Tori was like, I don't trust you, I like, this is not good, I don't get it, and I'm not signing up for this just like completely blind. So it's so funny to see her now upset at herself for not like trusting her instincts, but I feel like none of us, like the characters, even me, like when she was like that, we're like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I get it, you know, this woman shows up, your friends got hit by a drone, you're not gonna immediately be like, oh my gosh, I believe everything you say, but I also felt like it fit into Tori's personality of like not trusting everyone right away, so it was just kind of like something that I didn't really even think about until it was told that like they weren't in danger from E, and I still can't believe that like it's been confirmed that she is bad. That is hat off to the DM for coming up with that, because that is totally a twist I did not see coming. The only thing I do want is like more of a explanation of the motivation, which I'm sure we will get. Thus far it seems just like she was bullied, she was smart in school but not conventionally attractive, so she was bullied for that, and now she wants to turn people hot but stupid? It's unclear, and then it's like, is she going to be turning the hot people ugly? Because I feel like by turning the smart people hot and stupid, you're not really getting back at the bullies, because I'm assuming the bullies that bullied you for not being conventionally pretty were conventionally pretty, so it just seems kind of like a stereotypical, a bit sexist thing of like, oh, this girl got bullied for being not conventionally pretty and now she's turning people dumb. But I feel like that also is kind of like the Y2K time period of like, that's what a lot of motivation was, especially for like female villains, was like, people said that I wasn't the prettiest one, so now I'm gonna make, again, it would probably be ugly, but I do see where she's like, I'm gonna make you all dumb now, you know? So it fits into that time period, but I just hope that there's more of a stronger motivation than just she was bullied or something like that. But I feel so bad for Midge. I take back what I said about comparing her to Janet from Magic School Bus. I feel really bad about that, and honestly, it was breaking my heart, like seeing Midge try and go through the stuff and like banging her head because she's like, I know this, I used to know this, and like she doesn't even have like memories. Like that's the wild thing, is like, it's like, okay, she dumbed you down, but it's like she dumbed her down, like to the point where she can't even remember like what drawer she put something in, you know? Like it's like not like she's like, oh, I just don't know math formulas anymore, I don't know like all the robot stuff. It's even like she like her memories are gone, so it's like if she's gonna do this to more people, that's quite concerning. So it also brings up the question of Midge does have the spy suit schematics. However, it seems like she can't finish them, obviously, because of everything that's happened. So Malware is going to finish them now with the specifications that they each have. So in the next episode, they're going to have their suits, and I'm quite excited to see if that means they're actually going to be wearing the suits that we've seen them wearing, like the, you don't call it a theme song, what, intro, that's the word. I would be excited if that's like the whole episode, or I could even see, since they take like that small break, if they're like, we're gonna go to a break, we design the suits, and then they come back and they're in the suits. I love how fashion is such like a thing in this, like even getting to the whole like designs of like their formal wear outfits that they were wearing and like them describing it and how their makeup looks and everything, but even Becca making the choice to like take Mal's glasses off to be like that Y2K thing of like, oh, she's so pretty now that she doesn't have glasses. And I love that they put them back on her like almost immediately and we're like, you look beautiful with your glasses. You don't need to take them off and be like this bombshell all of a sudden. I thought that was really, really cute. And yeah, just the building up to the E reveal, because it's like throughout the whole kind of beginning we knew that maybe E was bad, and that's kind of what they were talking through, but then the more and more you realize how much she had integrated themselves not only in their lives but in like the college school life was truly terrifying, of how like she was basically like media controlling, right? Of it's like you could only look up certain things on her systems and it wouldn't mention things that she didn't want you to know, but then also like a story of finding out that someone had been texting her dad for her was horrifying, to be like that was just happening the whole time without her even realizing it. I do have to mention that I thought they weren't supposed to tell E about the gala. So when they were like, oh, we're shopping for the gala, and she's like, great, I was like, oh, you guys weren't supposed to tell her about that. So I'm kind of worried that she's going to show up at that or be a little bit suspicious if they say they didn't find anything or something like that. I just feel like they're not always the best about hiding their emotions. So that's why I'm also glad that they didn't go back to headquarters before the gala, because I feel like, especially Mal, they would have been caught immediately. Like, I feel like Astoria and Summer would have been just so mad automatically that they wouldn't have been able to keep it to themselves. And then I feel like Mallory would have been too bad at hiding it, like she would have just given it up right away. I feel like the only one that maybe could have got away with it is Tinsley, and that's just because she is already known for like kind of just not talking a lot. So if I feel like she's just kind of sitting there staring at you, you're not going to question it as much. But it just brings up so many like questions of what her true motivations are and why she selected these four and staged this whole thing to make it look like Midge was the bad one. Midge was going after their friends and everything like that. Like, what is her motivations? Is she actually wanting to use them just to get the suit back and then kind of manipulate them as she has been to her cause? Or is it something akin to like what she's done with Midge, where like, I don't think she could convince them to get prettier because they're already very secure in themselves and like their looks and everything like that. I don't know if she would try and offer them something else of like, hey, this can do this for you, this can do that for you, but I feel like the four of them as a core would never ever let something happen to the other one, because it's like the most I could see is like Mal getting swayed to like, oh, here's a tech thing, but then Tori and Summer and Tinsley would have stepped in and been like, no, you're not doing this, you know? So I feel like it just wouldn't have worked, and that's why I'm kind of like, what is her master plan with all of this? Because there's clearly something more at work than like what she has just done to Midge, or if it's like that on a grander scale or something like that. I just wonder why she picked these four out of everyone, because I don't know if she thought she could tear them apart, which is why she was kind of like revealing those secrets and stuff like that, and just made a miscalculation of like their friendship is way stronger than she ever could have expected, or if there's some kind of nefarious plot that she has going on that we don't know is up her sleeve yet. I just feel like there's so many questions for it. I do love Travis. I have to give a shout out to him. He was so funny, and I love that he was kind of the one pointing out like, you know, it's weird how like she's controlling something that like the description she used was really, really good. I say she because it was the DM, but like as Travis was something about like, you know, if you only want your dog to go so far, you build a really strong leash, not a leech, a leash that only goes so far and like only lets them see what you're allowing them to see. And kind of also saying, I think, about the roof of like, you got to think about who built the roof, and it's like if you want someone to think it's the roof but really it's the first floor and there's still a whole roof, you just build the second floor to look like a roof. Like, I feel like when I'm saying it, it sounds like it makes no sense, but I got it immediately how it clicked of like how she's manipulating their perceptions of things and how she's showing them things that makes it look a certain way that she wants it to, and is not actually what's happening. Kind of like what we saw with the drones and what we saw at headquarters of how it's like she's making it seem like all this stuff, but really you have to think of who's the one that's telling all this and who's the one that's in control of all the tech they've got, all the stories they've got, all the, you know, schemes they've run lately. Like, you have to wonder that. So I think that was just a really good way of looking at it, of someone being like, hey, like coming in and being like, outside of all of this, of like, I've got your back, right? And you know me, so you know I've got your back. I'm not just some girl who showed up and was like, I got your back. And I think this is sketchy. Like, I just really, really liked him and how he was like giving them hugs and comforting them, and they were very clear to say like, it's not weird at all, like it's just like a hug and very comforting after everything you've been through. I also have to shout out to one of my new favorite characters, which is the like sassy dark web chat box. I just love the part when they were trying to find out if their friends that had got hit by the drones were like dead, missing in the hospital, and like they looked up like if they were in the hospital, nothing came up. And then they looked up like morgue and nothing came up, and the chat box was like, weird, right? And they were like, wait, you think that's weird? Like, it was just so funny. I love when you like add that personality to things that don't normally have it. Like, it reminded me a lot of in Dimension 20, the identify spell. Brennan gives it like this whole thing of like, oh yes, this is the identify spell. Like, I just love that she was like, girl, that's weird for me too. I don't know. It was just so funny. So I hope they use that more. But yeah, next episode, we're definitely going to be building the suits, confronting E. I feel like there's a lot to do. So hopefully it's a longer episode, but I'm just very worried for them, excited, but also very worried. I do worry, I guess, because like I think a lot of the tech they have technically is from E, so I don't know if they'd actually be able to use that against her. You know how like Mal's scrying doesn't work on E, so I do worry about how that's going to be, but I think we saw some other stuff that they had this episode not from E that like they just had on their own. Particularly, I think Summer had some stuff. Oh, Silvery Barb she had, which was like just like her thing. I like that a lot of Summer's bard traits are just her as a charismatic person. Like, I think that's so funny to think of like a bard as like all these spells, but then like if you just want to put it in a real world situation, just make it someone who is charismatic, because you're like, yeah, they would be able to say something that would like make you rethink what you just said and like make the success come down, because you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so awkward. So I'm really, really excited. And we also have allies on our side now, which is good, because I do worry about the allies actually, now that I say that. But I really hope that they can fix Midge. That's my like #1 goal. And I don't mean like fix her of like get her back to like whatever she wants to look like is fine. Even though I do have to say I miss the red hair. But I hope that they can at least like get her memory and get her intelligence back, because I feel like that is part of who she is. So that's my main goal. Beat Eve and help Midge. And I hope none of the allies or the main girls die. You know, I feel like that's not a tricky thing to ask, right? Just everyone have a happy ending and everyone makes it out. So yeah, I'm so super excited. I'm also really excited because I feel like we know that pretty much all of them, but definitely Tori and Summer, and I think Tinsley too, but definitely Tori and Summer, they can ruin your life when they don't like you. And they've already said multiple times, like, if you come for my friends, like, you're dead. So this lady that's been manipulating them all along and has now also hurt Mal emotionally just because it's like this person that she looked up to turned out to be a terrible person, I feel like is definitely gonna have it coming for her. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if you have seen the episode, let me know what you thought about it and what your predictions are for the finale next week. And yeah, just what you're looking forward to and hoping to see and everything like that. Also, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!